Hello and welcome to this video. My name's Faye and I upload a vlog every Sunday, and then every other Wednesday I do a video like this where I sit down and have a chat to the camera about maybe book reviews or my recommendations. Sometimes I do a come bake with me, that kind of thing. Today I'm quite excited about this one. I've even got my Disney t-shirt on, especially because we're going to be talking about Disney Plus. You may have seen in one of my weekend vlogs about a month ago that I got Disney Plus. I was very excited about it, still am quite excited about it. And I thought today it'd just be good to share some of the things I've been watching over the past month or so on that platform and let you know what I think. So let's go on with it, I guess. So let's get the big obvious ones out of the way first. Yes, I've seen the Imagineering story. I thought it was brilliant. I think it's very well done, and fair play on Disney for keeping so many archives, because that's why we've got so much information for it. As I've grown older, I've become more and more interested in the theme parks across the world and things, so learning more about that was really interesting for me. Pete less so. He found bits of it interesting. He's not that big a Disney fan, but I really enjoyed it. The other big things that we've watched, obviously we've seen The Mandalorian, which I enjoyed, surprisingly. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I did enjoy The Mandalorian. We also watched the making of series, which wasn't quite as good. Some of the stuff was really interesting, like that big screen that they use. And there was a man on that was quite clearly very into Star Wars. But the making of show showed that there were 5 directors, a number of directors, so they each took an episode or a couple of episodes each, which would probably explain why I didn't like some of them. Some of them were weaker than others, and because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, I don't know what creature he was, but my favourite one was the guy that rides the weird rhino looking thing that says, "I have spoken," which is something me and Pete have now quoted to each other quite a lot since we watched The Mandalorian. But yeah, as I say, the making of programme is interesting. You do learn stuff about the series, but it's not as well made as the Frozen making of series, which is another thing that I have really enjoyed on Disney Plus. I found Into the Unknown, the making of Frozen 2, super interesting. I may have even preferred that to the Imagineering story. It's very difficult to say, to be quite honest, because it focused on one film and it took you not from conception of the idea, but from, about 9 months out from the premiere, and the process that you go through to making a feature-length animated film, particularly one of Frozen's hype. And watching them deal with that pressure and getting everything done in time. You're not sure if they will get it done in time. Obviously you know they do because it did get released, but I didn't realise quite how many people are involved in one film. I didn't realise how many stages each little 10-second clip had to go through. So you start with initial animation, and then you have to go to landscaping and lighting and cameras and all sorts of things. So no wonder they take so long to make. But yeah, that was really interesting. If you haven't seen Into the Unknown, making of Frozen 2, I would highly recommend it. That one's slightly newer, I guess, than the Imagineering story, which is also very good and worth watching. But because I watched the making of, I have also watched Frozen 2 on Disney Plus. I wanted to re-watch it anyway, because the only time I'd seen it previously was at the cinema. So I did want to watch it again now that I knew more of the songs and stuff like that. Because the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure. I thought the story was better than the first Frozen. They've certainly made it darker and slightly more adult, I guess. But I didn't know whether I preferred it to the first one or not. I was a bit on the fence about it. So I've rewatched it. I really enjoyed it as I did the first time, but I do think I slightly prefer the first one. The first one has slightly better songs, and there was something about Frozen 2 that I couldn't pinpoint why I was less impressed with it, like why, less impressed is the wrong word, why I didn't think it was quite as good as the first one. And I watched might have been a live stream with two YouTubers that I follow, this Natasha and Karen B. And Karen said that she preferred the first one because in Frozen 2 they've made Anna less goofy and less silly, and she lost some of her essence, for a better word. And as soon as she said that, I was like, yes, that is the thing that's missing in Frozen 2. They've tried to make Anna more grown up, but in doing that they've basically made her boring, and they've taken away what it is that you like about Anna. So that is why, I mean, don't get me wrong, Frozen 2 is still a very good film, but that is why I personally prefer the first one. So those are probably the big things that you know everyone has watched, everyone's already spoken about, that I've watched on Disney+. But I have seen a few things that maybe not as many people have seen. My absolute favourite, and probably beats everything that I've seen on Disney+, is the live action Lady and the Tramp. I thought it was very good. Hello Jeff, come on then. Come on then. There you go. You settled? We've got a friend. Where was I? What was I talking about? Lady and the Tramp, yes. Caveat, it's not live action, because how can you have talking dogs? But no English and stuff, so obviously live action is not quite the right terminology for it. It's real looking dogs in real looking environments. Lady and the Tramp has a place in my heart anyway, because it was my granny's favourite Disney film, so that might be one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it. But I just think they did it really well. Where are you going? I'm not normally a big fan of these remakes that they're doing, these live action remakes. I thought the Cinderella one was really good, but the other ones, I've enjoyed them, but not quite so much. None of them wowed me. None of them I thought, yes, it was definitely worth remaking this, but that. Until this Lady and the Tramp, because it was so good. The He's a Tramp scene is my absolute favourite in both films, but definitely in the live action one, because they did it so well. It's a bit of a weird song and a weird concept anyway, them all in a pound singing about Tramp and how everybody loves him, and then there's all these like bom 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 dogs in the background. Like, how do you do that? But it's weird, they managed to do it without it seeming ridiculous, with it seeming quite believable that these dogs would just do it. They obviously cut out the Siamese cat song and gave them a different one, because granted that in the animated film from, I don't know when it was, 50s, 60s, something like that, it is a bit questionable, we have to agree with that. But yeah, no, really enjoyed it. I think they portrayed Lady and the Tramp, like the dogs Lady and the Tramp, really well. Loved Jock, though Jock in this was a female dog. Brilliant, always dressed up, absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't seen Lady and the Tramp, all that long-winded rambling was basically me saying, go and watch the live action Lady and the Tramp, you won't be disappointed with it. Then there's a few things that I've started but not quite finished. So I started the High School Musical, the series, I think I've got that right. So I'm about halfway through that, and again, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not sure why. It's another one of those things I'm not entirely sure why they made it. but I'm glad that they have because it's quite entertaining. For a series that is called High School Musical, the series, I was expecting it to be more musical. There's probably about 1, maybe 2 songs, numbers in the episode. Some of them barely have any, and I was expecting more singing. But for them to make a series of a high school putting on the high school that High School Musical was set in or filmed in, putting on High School Musical, genius idea, but why did Disney think, yeah, we're going to make that? I mean, it's done well for them, I think. I'm certainly enjoying it and I can't wait to finish it. It's one of those ones that I've got to wait for Pete to not be around or to be busy so that I can sit and watch it. But yeah, odd one, but still enjoying it. The other thing that we've been watching, both myself and Pete, is we've started going through the Mighty Ducks trilogy. So we have watched Mighty Ducks and D2. We will probably watch D3 tonight as I'm filming this video. And it's one of those sort of slightly pants films that are really good. Now I'm sure I've seen the Mighty Ducks in the past, but I must have been like 7 or something when I've seen it, and I haven't seen it since. So if you don't know, Mighty Ducks, they're an ice hockey team, but they're not very good. And then Gordon Bombay comes along as part of his community service to come and coach them. But yeah, so we've been really enjoying our evenings watching the Mighty Ducks, and I can't wait to watch D3 tonight. I'm sure it's the worst of the 3. D2 is all about them going to like the Youth Olympics kind of thing and having a big rivalry with Iceland. So we'll see what D3's like, but that's what I'm really enjoying about Disney Plus, and what I want to get out of Disney Plus is to watch some of those films that I watched once or twice as a kid but haven't seen for ages. So things like Mighty Ducks, but there's tons of like the animated ones that I've not seen in forever. Off the top of my head, The Rescuers is the one that comes first. That and Pocahontas I've not seen for a long time. But yeah, so that's my plan for like future Disney Plus watching, is to relive some of those films that I haven't seen for ages that aren't always available. Like Black Cauldron, I know I had it on video, but I don't remember watching it very much because it's a bit dark for a Disney film for a kid. But I'd love to watch that again. And what's the other one? Return to Oz. I've never seen it. I've heard it's really weird. Can't wait to watch that one. Looking forward to reliving some of those experiences. So yeah, there are some of the things that I've been watching on Disney Plus. I've actually, now that I've sat down to talk to you about it, realised that we've watched quite a bit on there really. But there's still a heap of stuff on there that I want to watch. There's some of the Disney original series that I'd like to see. I think the main one I want to see is called Pick of the Litter. It's all about guide dogs, so I'm gonna wait till it's a bit cooler so that we can actually put him in his crate or something, because he does like to bark at animals on TV, so a whole TV series about guide dogs, probably not gonna be his favourite. And then some of the National Geographic stuff sounds really interesting, as we're, fingers crossed, going to be going on a few more holidays again next year and the year after. They have a few shows on there about places that we're thinking about going to, so it'd be nice to watch those. If you've got any recommendations for me about what you think I should be watching on Disney Plus, put it down in the comments because I'm open to all suggestions. And if you've enjoyed my little chat about Disney Plus, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. As I said, there are vlogs on a Sunday, and then every other Wednesday we do a video like this. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!